Now, as we look at the MBTI assessment, we're going to see that a report is given based on these 4 dichotomies, and we talked a little bit about that previously. Now, remember that each of them consists of opposite poles, and we're going to look and see exactly what these means. So I want you to try something. Take out a piece of paper and a pen, and I want you to sign your name, and sign it as you normally do. For instance, if you're right-handed, I want you to sign your name with your right hand. If you're left-handed, sign your name with your left hand. Now, switch hands and do the same practice. I want you to think about that. What did you experience? Was it different? Was it harder? How would you describe this experience? So most people who do this, and I love doing this with my clients, is that they really try to focus hard, right? But there are differences, and you're going to notice these immediately. So when you do it with your preferred hand, you're going to see that it's very natural. You didn't really have to think about it. It was effortless, and it even looks very neat. It's very legible, right? Now, if we look at our non-preferred hand, it is very unnatural. You had to concentrate really hard to do it. It might look a little awkward or clumsy. Maybe it's larger than the preferred hand, and it even looks very childlike. So this is the same idea with our preferences. They are natural. It's going to be what describes us. And when we are talking about our preferences, one is very natural and competent and easy, while the other is effort and awkward. I'll give you an example, one that's very easy to comprehend. If you're an introvert and you are suddenly tossed into an area where you must be an extrovert and you must participate in a very loud situation, it feels very awkward, and you may feel like you are very struggling with that. Well, this is the same idea. You can develop a skill in writing with that non-preferred hand, just like we can develop a skill as we are working with our non-preferred preferences, right? But it does take some effort. Now, you are always going to use both dichotomies because everybody has both dichotomies. You are not 100% introvert. You will be an extrovert. 100% introvert, plain and simply, is nothing more than a hermit, right? So we want to look that our MBTI gives us this spectrum, and it's going to show us how we can really best and feel most competent. So looking at our MBTI preferences, we want to notice that there are really 4 different areas. So as we look at this, the very first letter is the extrovert or introvert. And this is where we prefer to get our energy, where you focus your attention. An example of this, an extrovert, to feel energetic, is not going to want to sit at home and read. An extrovert is going to be someone who wants to be out with other people and excited to be around other people, and they come home from events or work or parties energized, and they can't wait to jump and do something else. An introvert is someone who gets their energy from being in solitary situations. They prefer the quiet. When they are put into a social situation, that is going to drain their energy. The second one is sensing or intuition. This is how we are going to take in our information. Thinking and feeling is how we prefer to make decisions. And lastly, judging and perceiving is how we orient ourselves to our external world. This is really going to be the judging process or the perceiving process. I really have to emphasize this, though. It's very, very important that everybody realizes that there is no right or wrong for these preferences. When we look at these preferences, this is our psychological type, and we can't say that one psychological type is better than another. They're unique and they are different, not better or worse. So what Myers and Briggs did is they then defined this psychological type, which is our personality pattern, and it's an interaction of these 4 preferences, the environmental influences, and our choices. So people tend to really develop their behaviors, their skills, and their attitudes that are associated with their type, and those types are likely going to be very different than you might think. It is fascinating to see what the type represents, the valuable, reasonable representation, and to see all of the wonderful potential strengths within each type, as well as some of those blind spots.